Hey everybody, welcome to Matt Men, your source for all things professional wrestling. I'm Major Zare, and I'm joined by the professor of quinoa, Rich Stambolian.
It's delicious and nutritious, brother.
Brother. What's going on, Rich?
Nothing. It looks like, go back to your shot.
Yeah.
Original brothers holding on for dear life right
He's
there.
holding up for dear life. They're both holding up for dear life.
This would have been the end of WrestleMania 9.
This is the match in Saudi Arabia.
Oh, no.
Yeah. This is the match in Saudi Arabia, guys.
He's back. He's back, dude.
Guys, a lot to talk about today. Obviously, this is a show all about professional wrestling. It's WrestleMania season, so we're doing a lot of content over the next, 3 months.
3 months.
Ton of events happening. I keep forgetting, sometimes there's this like lull period between Rumble and WrestleMania.
Yes.
And you're like, there's not much going on, but you got the Saudi show
Yes.
coming up in a couple of weeks.
Oh, tell me
You
more.
have NXT,
Uh-huh.
AEW pay-per-view,
Yeah.
Elimination Chamber, right? And then all the regular TV. There's a lot of wrestling happening right now.
Raw wasn't that bad yesterday.
I have to tell you, for a show that was almost canceled,
Right.
man, those guys turned out for that show in that storm.
They put on a good show, too.
They did put on a good show. Where do you want to begin?
How did you feel about Randy Orton just leaving?
I thought that was great, dude.
But also super oiled up.
Very oiled to go nowhere.
Exactly.
I wonder if that's how he goes and plays in the snow.
Yeah. I think that was good. Raw was pretty decent yesterday. I'm looking forward to the AEW pay-per-view.
Yeah, that's stacking up.
I do like that Ricochet is headlining the Saudi show against Brock Lesnar.
Yeah. I mean that was they kind of set that up already, right?
Yeah.
They set that up pre-Rumble.
Mm-hmm.
So you kind of had an idea that it might go in that direction. I did not want to see another Seth Rollins Brock Lesnar match.
Yeah, dude. Or a Roman Brock match.
Or a Roman Brock match. I think this was a good pick. It's something different.
Mm-hmm.
And Brock really likes working with the smaller guys.
Oh, yeah.
He does better with the smaller guys than the bigger guys.
100%.
He's able to, he beats on him and he beats on him.
Mm-hmm.
And then when all of a sudden they find that weak spot on him,
right.
man, it really, Daniel Bryan, same story. AJ Styles, same story. Finn.
Yep.
Obviously, I anticipate this to be a total squash. The other thing from Raw that was interesting was that they were kind of preparing you for Bobby Lashley and Brock Lesnar at some point.
Right.
Right?
At some point.
At some point, and I found that to be interesting because that was supposed to be the match when Lashley came in. He was gonna face Brock. I mean, that was a headline match that we're gonna have, and didn't happen.
I like the Ricochet thing better. Imagine if he wins.
He won't, but imagine if he does.
But I think that's the thing. I feel like if they're gonna do something big with that title, do it some basically like a big house show, right? And it would be cool if Ricochet won. Ricochet wins, brings the title back, loses it immediately.
Back to Brock.
They
can do whatever they want at this point. There's no reason not to try anything.
Yeah.
Drew's looking like a monster.
Oh yeah.
You know what? You said something last week. This was supposed to be the Braun Strowman push.
I think so.
You know what I mean? Like from years ago.
Yeah.
This would have been the Braun Strowman push.
What's up with that guy?
He's not the guy.
Yeah.
He's not the guy.
Drew has a very undefinable Scott Hall quality about him.
Yes, that's actually interesting you said that.
Right?
As soon as you said it,
Is he here? Scott Hall?
Scott Hall's here.
You're
So funny you say that. Hey, Scott,
what
would you do? I got a question for you. One day you show for Matt Men, right?
Uh-huh.
I want you God's honest answer. All of a sudden you show up, it's 10:30 in the morning. You open the door, reeks of pot.
Okay.
Reeks of pot.
I wouldn't be shocked.
Okay. Reeks of, just like heavy smoke coming.
Heavy in the air.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm nowhere to be seen.
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, Rich, just hang on 1 minute. And all of a sudden you turn to your right, and there's Hulk Hogan smoking a joint on the couch.
It is.
And he goes, "What's up, brother?"
I think I'd freak out.
You think you'd freak out?
I think I'd freak out a little bit, and I'd try to be cool about it and be like, "What are you waiting for, brother? Pass that over here."
All right, brother.
These
are the thoughts that go through my mind sometimes.
My kind of guy, brother. And then he taps me on the dick or something.
So another news: Bill Goldberg's returning. So I want to kind of touch on this. You want to continue with Raw a little bit? Was there anything else that happened? Drew,
no.
Drew's looking good.
We saw the debut of Angel Garza.
We did,
which is pretty cool.
With Zelina as his manager.
I think that's great. The big rumor after yesterday coming out from WWE is that there are a lot more suspensions apparently coming.
Mm-hmm. And it is not Samoa Joe. I just want to say
that's a weird thing that people were like, "Is it Joe?" Because the injury angle.
Well, it has to do with the fact that WrestleVotes is the one that broke the story,
Mm-hmm.
and they're pretty accurate. These guys.
He's an accurate dude.
Very.
Yeah.
I generally don't like going based on some of these guys, but he has a very good track record. Here's one this is what he wrote. We're just coming at the Raw is going to have more suspensions. Raw is going to have more suspensions. Might be something in the Southern California water. Hint, hint. Working on confirming details. Then he posted a photo of Samoa Joe. It is not Joe. According to our friend Sean SRS, he said that he confirmed with WWE that it is not Samoa Joe. That's
really
suspended.
interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I mean, who else is from Southern California?
The Young Bucks.
The Young Bucks are from Southern California.
Adam Cole? No, he's from Florida.
Well, it's a Raw suspension. So Rey Mysterio,
Sure.
right? Is he Southern California?
Well, they didn't.
619.
They kind of wrote him off TV, right?
They did. So when I read that and I saw what they did with Ray, is that how they suspend you now? The DDT on the mat?
I think so. Going forward, that's it. I don't know. I think it's interesting. Like we talked about last week, how you don't really see these things happen anymore.
Yeah.
But now they're starting to pop up. I feel like they're just like they were probably pretty lax with like testing or whatever, and then all of a sudden now it's like now that these guys are locked in their contracts, you know.
I mean, we haven't gotten people popped in 3 years like this.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, this would be Rey Mysterio's third or fourth if it is him. I'm just speculating. 10th. It's his fourth because he got hit twice on that. Remember the signature pharmacy scandal?
Yeah.
Where they all got suspended?
Yeah.
Fascinating that signature.
Yeah,
Rich,
you
my
can get
brain
it out.
just stopped.
You can get it out. That's
Signature pharmacy scandal was interesting because you had guys that you never would have imagined they were on some sort of anabolic or TRT or something.
Yeah.
Shane Helms got hit with HGH.
Hurricane growth hormone.
Hurricane growth hormones. So I don't know. This would be his third. Definitely not going to be fired if it is him.
Yeah, exactly.
But, I mean, they are testing now for some reason.
Somebody's dealing backstage.
Yeah.
Also, we got Rhea Ripley and Charlotte, which was cool yesterday.
Rhea Ripley and Charlotte. That's gonna be the women's match.
You know, I do think Ripley's gonna go over.
You think Rhea's gonna go over?
Yeah.
So I don't know. Is it the moment for her? Double champion? Does she lose the night before? Does she not defend the title the night before?
Well, she's defending on the next show. She's defending against Bianca Belair.
Yeah, but they're not. The next show is in February. They're not doing NXT the night before WrestleMania.
Portland is the next one, right?
Well, they're doing one now. They're doing one in a couple of weeks.
Right.
NXT Takeover.
I think Rhea Ripley goes into WrestleMania as champion.
So let's see. Tampa Bay. It's on the 4th. So I'm curious if she's going to defend the title for that. We'll find out.
I'm going to say no.
You're going to say no. Okay. I'm
going to say no. I'm going to say they do something with Charlotte on NXT TV to set up that angle.
So some of the matches, we have 2 matches for Super Showdown right now. We have New Day versus Morrison and Miz for the tag titles, and Brock Lesnar Ricochet. This may be a decent pay-per-view, to be honest.
Yeah. But before that, we get the NXT show, NXT Portland, right?
Yeah.
Which seems like this is already like a great card. Dakota Kai versus Tegan Nox and like a revenge match. Adam Cole versus Tommaso Ciampa. Gonna be awesome. Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly versus Matt Riddle and Pete Dunne. Finn Balor versus Gargano, and Rhea Ripley versus Bianca Belair. This is where Charlotte shows up. Okay. I think Balor versus Gargano is interesting. How do you feel about Finn being back in NXT?
I was told by SummerSlam he's moving back up.
They just need him to pop the territory?
Yeah. Well, they're going to do that. They're going to bring people in for a couple months and then send them back.
So swap him out? Interesting. Yeah. I like his run in NXT so far. I like heel because he's doing the Bullet Club stuff basically.
Yeah. He's Prince Devitt, essentially.
Yeah. Did you see last week with the setup for Trent Seven?
No.
He like choked him with a car door.
Did he really?
Yeah.
I missed that.
It was great. Like he was like, turn the camera
I
off.
did see that. I did see
And
that.
he like choked him with a car door, and I was like, "Oh, this is fantastic! This is what I want to see out of Finn Balor. I don't want to see a smiley, weirdo."
So they announced Charlotte for NXT also. So
Okay.
and they're gonna pop a rating there.
Mhm.
Also, AEW's doing I know we're a little all over the place. I kind of want to get
It's
organized
fine.
here, but AEW's doing their first intergender match
This week, right?
this week
Okay.
because it did so well on the cruise. Now they're doing it on TV. Same
Mhm.
match. So we'll see what happens with that. What do you want to start off with? Like I know we kind of summed up stuff, but what do you want to go?
We did Raw.
We did Raw.
We did the show on Thursday last week, so we kind of like
Covered a lot. Yeah.
covered a lot last week, and then this week is just Raw. I guess like I'm not really big on the Saudi show, so we don't really have to go into it too much.
I'm not big on the Saudi show. I'm shocked that
Mhm.
they do this in between for because they're gonna have the Saudi show on February 27th, and then they have Elimination Chamber
Right.
on March 8th. So literally like a week later,
Right.
10 days later,
How did
they're
you
gonna have another
feel?
one.
How did you feel about Baron Corbin getting covered in dog food?
It was gross. It's yuck, right? I mean, what do you think of that?
I think it just looked like beef stew, and they should have just made it like a beef stew match. And I also hope this is the end of that angle.
I hope so too. So
Mhm.
Goldberg is going to be on SmackDown this week. The reason why they scheduled him on for SmackDown this week is if you watch the Super Bowl,
Mhm.
that was WWE presence that whole entire day.
Yes.
Right? Top to bottom, they had SmackDown commercials. They had The Rock doing his intro, which I know it's not current WWE, but a lot of people. And you know what's interesting? I was talking about this on Twitter, and I said, people question the Fox deal.
Right.
But man, oh man, this was the best business decision this company ever did. What other chance are you going to have the opportunity to get 120 million eyeballs on your product? The opportunity to. Not saying that's how many people saw it.
Yeah.
But there's no other. That's 1/3 of the country.
That's a huge platform.
No, actually, that's half this country almost. 125, 150 million. There's no other event that draws that much from this country.
Oh yeah.
So I know it's a worldwide thing, but majority of the viewership comes from the U.S. I'm curious how much it'll have a factor in the ratings on Friday. That people saw this and they said, "Oh crap, wrestling! I remember that. It's on Fridays. Okay.
Oh crap, wrestling." I feel it's interesting. It's very interesting because I saw that and was like, "Wow, that's pretty cool," But I also feel like WWE has continually permeated every single market over the last few years. It's almost inescapable. But I think we're blind to the stuff that we don't watch because these dudes are on like TV shows all the time.
They're all over the place.
The Bellas have like 25 shows.
yeah.
And the Miz, like there's a presence like everywhere, and it's seeping into other things, like where like when a football player retires, they ask him like, "Hey, you think you're gonna go to WWE?" Or like a UFC guy, like, "Do you think you're gonna transfer into like?" Everybody, it's very interesting, Triple H sending title belts to every winning team,
exactly, yeah.
So it's permeating the culture. I don't know if it'll have that much of an impact,
I don't know. I'm curious about it. I would imagine that with Bill Goldberg showing up also, there's gonna be, because their whole concept with those ads, it's not targeting their current viewership. It's targeting disenfranchised people, 35-year-olds, 40-year-olds that used to watch 20-something years ago.
Right.
So now they see The Rock on TV,
Ooh,
and then now they see Bill Goldberg is going to show up. You're like, oh crap!
What if, by some happenstance, you got The Rock versus Goldberg?
I would love that
at WrestleMania.
I would love that.
There was 36 this year.
36.
Yeah,
I would love that.
Would you?
There's no reason not to. Truly love that.
Or The Undertaker.
I don't want to see The Undertaker and Goldberg again.
Why not?
Because we saw it.
Okay.
Twice.
Who would
5 times, 13 times.
If Goldberg's gonna have a 2-minute match with somebody at WrestleMania, who would you want it to be?
Definitely not The Rock or Undertaker.
Edge.
Baron Corbin.
All right. Good squash match. Good heat. Sure.
Oh, so Goldberg, since we're on Baron Corbin, Goldberg is returning, and I guess he's wrestling in Saudi Arabia. And from what I see, it's very possible it's going to be Baron Corbin.
Oh, awesome. So you called it.
Possible.
Roman.
I'm not 100%. I don't think it's going to be Roman.
Spear
right now.
versus spear.
Don't think it's going to be Roman. Didn't we see Roman in him?
I don't remember. I don't think so.
I feel like that's a match. That's not a Saudi Arabia match.
It's
Because it has to be a squash match. It has to be him coming in,
Uh-huh.
murdering somebody, and leaving.
Okay. Because they did that with Ziggler last time.
They
right?
did, and you know what? It worked.
Yeah, it worked. It worked very
It
well.
was great.
Sammy.
No, Sammy can't go to Saudi Arabia.
Oh yeah.
Some people are saying the Fiend. But that's not going to help anybody,
Yeah.
right? Having the Fiend beat Goldberg in Saudi Arabia doesn't help anything,
Mm-hmm.
unless they do the Fiend, and that's that they do some sort of weird finish. The last time Fiend wrestled in Saudi Arabia, it was that Hell in a Cell with the red lights.
That's right.
Right? Wasn't
think
that the
so.
weird match with Seth Rollins?
No,
Yeah.
that was Hell in a Cell.
What did he
But
do
he
in
did.
Saudi Arabia?
He did have a weird match with
He
Seth
did have,
Rollins.
yeah, it was
Saudi
something
Arabia.
bizarre. Oh no, that's the one that Seth tried to kill him.
Yes.
And nothing worked.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
Which was fine.
Which was fine.
Nakamura.
I don't think so. I mean, I don't know. I don't know who it would be.
Roman, but they just keep spearing each other and no selling.
Oh my god!
Like
Just
they don't
constant.
move.
That's
yeah.
it.
Like
Who gets
Goldberg just
gassed out
stands
first?
still. Yep. Goldberg stands still, takes a spear. Sheamus.
Could be Sheamus. Yeah, maybe a Sheamus match. I don't know. It has to be a non. It has to be something that doesn't affect anybody.
Bobby Lashley.
I would love to see Bobby Lashley and him
In a squash match? It's just like
no, just tussling,
in a big hand match.
hand match.
There's a lot of big dudes on the roster.
So Bill Goldberg. The other thing,
Mhm.
Hulk Hogan's going to be there
Of course he
in
is.
Saudi Arabia.
He's back, baby.
He's back. So
Brother.
he is 10 weeks out from back surgery.
How much Hogan stuff do you have in here?
I have so much Hogan stuff.
You got one Hogan?
I got one Hogan here.
You got two Hogans
I
here.
got another Hogan here. There's another, and I
You
got
got-
a Hogan. I got a Hogan buddy.
Is that Daniel Bryan or Trent Seven?
Which one?
Behind you.
Daniel Bryan. It could be Trent Seven. Yeah. I'm just Hulk Hogan's Twitter is the best.
Yeah.
So this guy's losing his mind. I'm looking at a video of him holding a cane,
And it's
And-
shaped like Kane.
and he's like air guitaring it, and he's wearing like compression socks.
Yeah, he's nuts. Anyway, the big news with Hogan today is that he says he's cleared by his doctors to wrestle.
I am not finding this. All I see is him arguing with General Motors over a bad motor he bought. Swear to God. Bought a brand new motor from GM. It was a lemon.
Great.
So,
Brother.
I mean, I don't know how cleared he could possibly be.
He's cleared. He can be cleared enough to do a leg drop.
Can he be cleared enough to do a leg drop?
I
This
think
guy
so.
has not done a leg drop in many, many, many years.
I think so. I think he can do one.
One, he has. I told you he has one left, and then he
Yeah.
shatters into dust, and we consume him.
I
all
think
of
he's
us.
got one more left. And apparently this dude's getting like big again. So I think that would be fun.
I would love to see a jacked Hogan.
Now again, so like what if he does his one last match? He is going into the Hall of Fame again.
Yeah.
So you can do a tag match or you can do like one final
Who's he going
thing.
in with?
NWO.
Oh yeah, I forgot they announced that.
It's him, Pac, Scott Hall, and
Weird selection though.
and the Big Sexy.
But why X-Pac?
Because he was the fourth, right? He was the fourth man or the fifth man?
No, I thought the fourth one was Ted DiBiase.
Are you
right?
counting Ted DiBiase?
Yeah, because remember he was the benefactor.
Right. Okay.
Ted DiBiase. That's a part of the NWO that people
Mm-hmm.
totally forget. That he was the one that brought them in. He was the benefactor.
Because then you had Big Show.
Big Show, yeah, and then I think X-Pac.
Yeah, I feel like Big Show should be in there too. Because people forget he was like the enforcer.
And why not Bischoff?
Yeah,
That's weird. Why
Yeah.
not Bischoff?
Yeah. very interesting.
Maybe Bischoff will go in on his own. They
Mhm.
want to save that for his first one.
Okay, I could see that
Because
yeah.
they got a couple of years planned out. Like they know
Yeah.
next year and the following year.
But again, with the Hogan stuff, like he's gonna be in the Hall of Fame again. He's gonna be in the area. Why not toss this guy a bone? Have him do something with Cena. Tag match with Cena, and then you
I
get
don't
two
know,
birds with one stone.
66-year-old Hulk Hogan?
And a 66-year-old John Cena.
I don't know. He's going to be there, though.
Hogan
Maybe.
and Cena versus the Revival.
Maybe he'll do a thing. Maybe
Yeah.
a couple punches and a Hulk up.
He'll drop a leg.
But see, this is what sucks. You're wasting WrestleMania. Like, that's a WrestleMania thing.
Right.
You're wasting it on this show.
Why?
So you got Bill Goldberg coming back. You got Hulk Hogan.
You mean you're wasting it on the Saudi show?
Yeah. You're wasting it on the Saudi show.
I don't think they see it like that. They see it as like, well, we'll never have WrestleMania here, so here's what you're gonna get. You know?
I don't know. So we'll see. I don't know what the plan for Hulk Hogan is. I mean, obviously everybody's involved at this point, right?
Mansoor.
It's WrestleMania season. Who wrestled? Oh my God, he wrestles Mansoor and beats him.
No,
clean?
Mansoor beats Hogan clean.
Mansoor beats Hogan clean.
I think that's another funny thing about those Saudi shows. It's like, who's Mansoor gonna beat?
Yeah, he has to be there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where is Mansoor?
I don't know.
Does he's not on NXT TV.
No,
They just bring him out for the Saudi shows and put him back?
I think he's in developmental in NXT. I want to say developmental NXT UK. I don't think he's in Florida with everybody.
No, he's not English. He's American.
Drew Gulak for Goldberg.
Right?
That's perfect.
Let's see. He was trained by Dory Funk Jr.
Awesome.
He's 24, this kid. He was born in Saudi. Where was he born? Just says he's a Saudi Arabian professional wrestler, but where was he born?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I believe he's born like here. It says he's born in Saudi Arabia, so maybe he came here very, very young.
Newark, New Jersey.
Yeah, I feel like it's going to be like Fort Lee, New Jersey.
Great. But I feel like that's always like a funny thing.
Mansoor?
Yeah, well, not him personally, but like just him winning because he's the babyface.
Yeah, of course. He's
Yeah.
technically he should lose because you always lose in your home city.
He's billed from Rhodesia.
He's Canadian. Thank
Okay.
you. He's Canadian.
Great. So that's how you end the show. You have Ricochet getting squashed, and then Brock Lesnar's like, "Is there anybody
And
else?"
then Mansoor comes out.
And effing Mansoor comes out.
The building erupts.
Yeah.
Like a Hogan 87 pop.
And his song is he's the real Mansoorian.
The real Mansoorian?
and he comes out with Hogan.
Yeah, that's it.
That's
Perfect.
it. That's how you do it.
Hogan does the
He
clap.
does the clap. He point. Does the point
Yeah.
at this guy. This is the guy. Boom, boom, boom. Takes the title off of Brock Lesnar.
Yeah. I don't know, man. It's right now. So more suspensions are coming. We spoke about that a little bit. I'm not going to speculate on this.
Yeah.
Because I've heard nothing. The other thing that I am hearing, however, is that WWE is purposely leaking fake stories.
Yes.
Right? And we spoke about this months ago that this was something they were going to do.
Mm-hmm.
I got a message from somebody in that company that doesn't like a specific guy that covers pro wrestling. I'm not even going to call him a journalist.
Is it us?
He loves us.
Okay.
And I was going to mute it, but I changed my mind. I was going to not tell the story. But he essentially said, oh, this is something that they do constantly. And what they're doing now also is putting out fake stories to specific people to make them look like fools.
Okay.
So that it's not, it kind of hurts everybody because then you don't know what to believe, and they kind of like that.
Okay.
So they'll leak like the true story and the fake story,
Mm-hmm.
and then they'll leak stuff that's totally fake
Right.
to specific people so they look like a fool.
Also, I think they do that for years to know internally who the moles are.
Yes, yeah, they always do that. But
Yeah.
now this is specifically to make someone look like a fool.
Yeah. There's a few names out there.
There's a few names,
We're
but
not going to dignify them on the air.
yeah, there's a few names, but I know this to be a fact. And the fact that they messaged me about this, that kind of solidifies it.
The person that they're trying to throw under the bus, or your guy in.
There was a story that was reported
Mhm.
months ago that was 100% false, and
Okay.
I reached out. I knew it wasn't real, but I reached out to somebody,
Mhm.
and they pretty much laid the whole thing out to me.
This is
That
what's happening.
this
Yeah.
is what they do.
Interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah. And it's kind of also to keep the viewers
Mhm.
not knowing,
Right.
because they'll probably leak like Roman Reigns winning the Rumble, right?
Right.
That's a good example of a
Mhm.
story that they would leak to add confusion to the group. Who's going to eliminate who. That's a lot of, because the whole thing is you're supposed to not know. You're supposed to anticipate the utter opposite of what happens.
Yeah. So like the Edge thing, I think is a good example of that.
Edge thing is a great example.
Where I think months ago you did say this dude's gonna be. I was
told he's coming back.
Yeah. So that's kind of interesting. But then you have the other side of that.
Of them denying it.
Right. Them denying it, everybody denying it. Yeah. And then just like wrestling rumors are always very interesting. And much like I feel like the media has taken a page out of the wrestling rumor handbook when it comes to certain things like clickbait headlines and all that.
It's terrible. It's just, listen, Kobe Bryant's a great example, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, there was a plane crash. There was a helicopter crash. Obviously, people realize that Kobe Bryant's on it. And then, based on speculation, all these falsehoods started getting reported throughout. Not to the fact that ABC News covered some of them. CNN covered some of them. And then they had to retract what they were saying. It's to be there first.
Right.
That is always the game. To be there first, report it first. And it doesn't matter if you're wrong, because then you can say, well, it was sorry, I'm wrong. But think about what that does, reporting a falsehood.
But at this point, like, it doesn't matter. Because you can do like just like a postscript on that, which is what happens like all the time.
Yeah. That's one thing. MG Geek, am I missing anything? Because we have 2 segments we're bringing back. Obviously, we're going to do our mailbag.
Is it this guy?
Segment. That guy, but not that guy. That's not him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Same name though.
Same name.
Okay.
Yeah. Real crappy guy.
Okay.
So, but it's not just him, by the way. They do it to Dave also.
Okay.
Yeah.
Meltzer?
Yeah. They do. They just to make people look like idiots.
Okay. This guy.
Oh yeah.
That's the guy.
That's the dude.
Okay.
Yeah. So, where do you want to begin? You want to do the mailbag, or you want to do the what if?
Let's do the mailbag.
Okay. So, guys, submit your questions here in the chat room for us to answer. We'll do our best to answer them. If it's something we could, mention, if we know something or we don't know something, we'll tell you. But we'll do our mailbag now, and then we'll do our what if. And the what if this week is, what if Hulk Hogan never left WWF in 1993?
As if you didn't hear enough of us talk about Hulk Hogan every single day of the week.
It's a Hulk Hogan show today.
We're going to start doing a Patreon-only Hogan show where we just talk about, we don't even watch matches. We just talk about how much we like him.
Hulk Hogan. Just mention his name. Okay. Caleb in the chat says, why hasn't Natty had a title run in a long time?
She's getting long in the tooth.
I don't know. I've heard things. I don't want to repeat them as to why. But she's a utility player, and they feel like she's not the one to build a program off of in that sense. Not saying she won't ever get the title, but I think right now they're trying to transition her more into training a lot of these new girls and working with a lot of these new girls and get them ready. Because do you remember the biggest complaint about her years ago from WWE is that she wrestled like a man?
Oh yeah, I was gonna say.
Remember that?
Yeah.
I always found that interesting that was a complaint, that she wrestled like a guy and was very hard hitting. By the way, that match that she had, did you hear her screaming, called her a bitch and told her, like, you want to shoot on me?
Asuka?
Yeah. She got a black eye in that match. It was a very different style match that they had.
Yeah.
Not a WWE style match. How long before Edge is back in the title hunt? He's not going to be there full time. I would anticipate he gets some sort of title shot. It's not going to be Drew. And maybe Roman. Maybe that's the big SummerSlam match. I don't think they want to do that to Roman, though. They were being very careful with him. So he has to go up against a heel.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Fiend?
Maybe the Fiend? Maybe he's the one that could beat the Fiend?
That would be cool. That would be interesting.
I don't know. But they're going to be very careful with him. It's a limited work schedule. It's not going to be like Kurt Angle where he comes out on Raw and loses. It's not going to be like that. They're paying him a lot of money. And this is a very unique opportunity that WWE has, considering this guy has been gone for 9 years. It's rare for them to get somebody back after that long. Guy's 46 years old. He's been gone for 9 years, since he was 36, 37 years old.
But that, well, yeah. I mean, like, I know we're going to talk about the Hogan thing, but how long was he gone?
But Hogan was wrestling. I'm saying a guy that hasn't wrestled.
Okay, a guy that hasn't wrestled,
Yeah,
not a guy that was away from the company.
No,
Okay.
a guy that has not wrestled. Like Kurt Angle was a guy that was away from the company for a long time.
Yeah.
But he was wrestling.
What's your official prediction when CM Punk will return? I think that window's closed.
No, he's going to return.
You think so?
Yeah. Yeah.
This year?
I'm going to say not this year.
Okay. Next year.
Maybe next year.
All right. Let's see.
Because you got to remember, he has to get back into shape. He has to start working out. I mean, that'll probably take him like a good 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe SummerSlam. I don't know. He's a weird guy.
Mm-hmm.
He's a really weird guy, and he's very particular about what he wants and what he wants to do. He didn't go to AEW because he thought it wouldn't work.
Yeah.
Instead, he went to
Backstage.
And
they gave him a lot of money.
And they gave him a lot of money for it.
He's almost like, thanks, Front Page Tech.
Oh, John Prosser. Hey, losers, here's some coffee money. Cheers to John.
Thanks, John. He's almost like a Randy Savage.
He is almost like a Randy
in that
Savage.
way of like, you burned me once, now I'm never coming back.
I buried John Prosser on What the Tech last week.
Did you?
I did. I buried him.
Is John in New York?
John is he's in Cincinnati.
Okay. Does Adam
Maybe.
Cole?
I don't know. I like to say that.
You like to say he's in Cincinnati?
Yeah.
Does Adam Cole defend the NXT title on Mania, and against who?
I don't know. Well, no. I'm going to say no because the women's title's not going to be I mean, technically, right? The women's title's going to be defended on, well, it's not a women's title. It's the NXT championship.
For the ladies.
That's what they're calling women are wrestling in.
Okay.
In the match exclusively. The NXT women's title is going to be defended at WrestleMania, obviously. So I would anticipate that the NXT men's championship is not.
Okay.
But who's his opponent right now? Who would he be in a program with? Ciampa?
He's feuding with Ciampa right now.
Yeah.
I think they just like status quo kept it like that. Maybe.
But is that
Mania?
Let's see. NXT TakeOver Portland.
I'm gonna say Finn for Mania.
Let me see here. Okay, so you have Adam Cole Ciampa, right, for the NXT Championship.
Right.
Dakota Kai Tegan Knox.
Right.
Undisputed Era versus the Broserweights for the NXT tag titles. Finn versus Gargano. Rhea Ripley versus Bianca Belair. Does Ciampa take the title?
No.
Do you think they've done a good story with him chasing for that belt?
Yes and no.
Yes and no.
Yes and no. I think the end game for Mania is going to be Cole versus Finn. Because that's a Mania match. What would you rather see at WrestleMania?
That weekend?
Yeah.
For the title?
Just for that one match. Three-way, Ciampa, Finn, and Adam Cole.
I don't know. Ciampa, Finn, Adam Cole. Yeah, maybe. Maybe. No, you know what? Finn. I want to see Finn and Ciampa.
Okay.
I want to see Finn and Ciampa.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
Let's say we got a lot of questions.
Okay, let's do it.
Who is Undertaker's opponent at Mania this year if he has a match? What about John Cena?
So he was at Royal Rumble.
Yes.
Because they were in they were in Texas, so it was convenient for him to go. But I don't know if he need. See, here's the thing about Undertaker. He doesn't need a match. Doesn't need a match. All he needs is the entrance, get in the ring, beat somebody up, and then leave.
Chokeslam.
You could continue that for like 10 years.
Absolutely. Like, who's he going to be now?
There's no story to tell with him and his match. Because the big thing about The Undertaker was that his matches were, it was equivalent to a world title match.
Right.
Because something was on the line. There's nothing on the line right now with him. So
yeah.
If you just have him come out and just do it to anybody, it's fine. Maybe Cena. I mean, I've heard very little about John Cena.
Yeah.
Very, very little about him.
Doing Fast 9, baby.
He is doing Fast 9.
Do you like the Fast and the Furious movies?
No, my father loves them. Though.
Really?
Oh my God, my father loves The Rock, loves Vin Diesel, loves all of them.
Loves Hobbs.
He hates Tokyo Drift though.
Okay.
The third one he's not a fan of.
That's the second one.
No, Tokyo Drift was the third.
That's the set. No, you're right.
Yeah,
Too
it
Fast,
was-
Too Furious was the second
Yeah,
one.
this third one was the weird like off story.
It was the prequel.
the prequel. Yeah,
But all those dudes are coming back like in this one.
good.
This is the most. Did you know that this is the most profitable franchise in like movie history?
I can't believe that.
Yeah,
can't believe
like
that.
their overseas numbers are effing Look it up. It's fascinating. Their overseas numbers are so bonkers.
It's unbelievable.
I think the franchise is worth like $340 billion or
It's
some shit like
unbelievable.
that. Yeah,
That actually is unbelievable.
yeah, it's really nuts.
Who do you think the Undertaker will face?
Vin Diesel from Fast and the Furious.
I'm shocked
Dominic.
we didn't see Vin Diesel show up in WWE at some point.
He seems like a big old puss.
You think so?
Yeah.
He had a breakdancing video out in the 90s.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He seems like a Hollywood tough guy.
You don't
Not
like
a-
Vin Diesel.
Not a legit tough guy. He's all right. He's fine. You know, I like him as Groot.
As Groot? You
Yeah.
like him as Groot.
He's gonna be Bloodshot. Should Bianca be called up to Raw and paired with Street Profits?
No.
No. Thoughts on the rumors of NJPW having a show on Viceland? I did not hear about that.
I did not hear about that, and I think that's a terrible, terrible place to put their product on.
I
It makes
think-
no sense.
I mean, Vice has done tons of wrestling stuff, which is real. They're all done really well.
They've covered it, but they're known more for
Gonzo,
yeah, Gonzo,
Mr. Gonzo.
Gonzo journalism,
Uh-huh.
and they're not that anymore. You know that
No, they're not.
they're like extremely left leaning progressive.
Yeah.
I was a big fan of Vice. I used to actually get the Vice magazines.
You liked it when it was Gonzo.
I liked it when it was Gonzo. It was
Yeah.
like really off, bizarre pieces that
Yeah.
you would never read about. Now it's become, ladies shaving
thought
your legs,
pieces.
shaving your legs oppression.
Mhm. It's a lot of thought pieces that they do now. Also because I think one of their main guys who left, they're trying to steer clear of his image.
Oh, I haven't.
The
What's his
Nazi.
name? The Proud Boys guy.
Yeah. That
You know
guy.
what's funny about him?
Yeah.
He had nothing to do with the boom. He left like a long time ago. It
Mhm.
was Shane Smith
Yeah.
that became the guy that was kind of front running all of it.
Yeah.
And I think the guy just became too big
Mhm.
to give a shit anymore. Like he was the guy going to North Korea and doing all
Right,
that,
right,
like
right.
all those weird things. And then he's like, yeah, whatever. I think they might have sold the magazine, and now it's something else.
Gonzo. I want
Gonzo?
I want more Gonzo. Guys, if you know anything remotely close
Like
to
the Muppet
Gonzo
Babies.
Gonzo journalism, besides Mr. Gonzo, does Shayna attack Becky next week after her match with Asuka?
I would. Does Shayna have a match at NXT Takeover? She does not.
No. Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So that's definitely gonna be something I'm looking forward to seeing
Tim Thatcher has signed with WWE.
as a trainer, from what I remember.
Really?
I don't know if he's an. I have to tell you something about Timothy Thatcher. Unbelievable worker.
Yes.
We've seen him.
Yeah.
I mean, just unbelievable. In it's
Mhm.
just so good. Just not fun to watch.
Why?
I don't know.
Too ground based.
He's very ground based for that. I'm saying for WWE style.
Okay.
I mean, I could get behind it. I just don't know how he would
Mhm.
do well over there.
Killer Cross has signed with WWE, expected to debut tomorrow. Apparently, that's not a question. That's just this guy's just making statements. Are you going to do a live stream watching AEW Revolution? And are they ever going to lower the pay-per-view prices? Maybe and no.
So Killer Cross debuting tomorrow. I don't know what they're gonna do with Killer Cross yet. They got to be
Mhm.
careful with this guy. They don't want to ruin him. He has a lot of hype right now, but mainstream has no idea who Killer Cross is.
Right.
Like nobody knows. And I'm not saying that to
Mhm.
disparage the guy, but nobody knows who he is. So I don't think it's gonna have this huge impact if Killer Cross shows up. Also, they're not gonna call him Killer Cross.
Right. They can't. They'll probably just call him Cross.
I was told they are not gonna call him Killer Cross.
They can't. They can't.
What if
do
they
that.
call him Chris Cross?
Yeah, Chris Cross. They're gonna slap him with the Forgotten Sons. I
God, I
guarantee
hope
it.
not. I hope
Guarantee it
not.
because he fits their aesthetic.
I hope not.
The corporate
He's
shakeup.
signed as a talent and no trainer role. That is very interesting. I'm curious how that's gonna go.
Cool.
What was the other one you had? You had another question here.
The corporate shakeup.
The corporate shakeup. I
there's-
want to get to that one.
Okay.
Does your father live his life a quarter mile at a time? He did that once. I believe, and I'm not even exaggerating. I wish I was. He did a Thanksgiving toast,
Mhm.
and that was his finishing line.
Hell yeah. He loves those movies,
He
doesn't he?
loves those movies. It was Thanksgiving, and he said, "And everybody, make sure you live your life a quarter mile at a time." And I bursted out into laughter.
Have you watched them?
I haven't watched like anything beyond the fourth one.
Watch the last one.
Was it good?
It's stupid. But like the stunts get so I don't use this word. They get so cockamamie
Cockamamie.
that you can't help but be oddly entertained. And everybody's in. Charlize Theron was in the last one, and Kurt Russell.
That's crazy.
Like they get everybody to be in these things.
It's a good franchise.
It's a great franchise. Hysterical.
With Ruby Riott going to Raw, does that mean Nia's to SmackDown? I know Nia's almost ready. So, and she slimmed down a lot. She's been training unbelievably.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Anything else here? Timothy Thatcher. So I was told that they were interested in him as a trainer. I guess it's a performer contract. So I'm curious where they put him.
Mm-hmm.
He'd be a good hand in NXT.
I think so. Who is the next big jump from New Japan to WWE or to AEW? Who's jumping? I think that's phrase weird. From New Japan to WWE or AEW, and who's the next big WWE jump?
Will Ospreay would be a big one if he does. That's a big one.
NXT.
Will Ospreay, I would anticipate he goes to NXT.
Yeah,
smart move for him.
Absolute Zack Sabre. NXT UK.
No, I think he's fine. He likes being independent.
Yeah.
I don't see that being a big jump. I think the few 5 years from now, the top guy in the business is probably going to be Will Ospreay.
All right,
because there's so much of that AJ Styles factor in him. Like remember AJ when he was midway through his career.
Yes. Yeah.
Everybody knew he was the best, but you just never thought he'd be on TV in WWE.
Now imagine this. So like they're building up that Edge Randy Orton match, right?
Yeah.
And they keep saying RKO. They keep talking about an RKO, right? But the reveal is that the RKO is Rainmaker Kazuchika Okada.
And it's that's the RKO. I like that actually.
Okada's going nowhere.
Okada's gonna no. They would be that would be suicide for New Japan.
Lance Archer wants to jump ship. That's right.
Lance Archer, I heard he is gonna go to AEW, but they are gonna allow him to work New Japan.
Anything to the Matt Hardy to AEW room?
Yes, a lot. He's negotiating.
Can't wait. I hope he's the king of the Dark Order.
Well, it was supposed to be Marty.
Mm-hmm.
We spoke about this a couple of weeks ago, and that's why that whole segment made no sense at all.
Right.
So Marty now has signed with Ring of Honor.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to be wrestling. He's doing New Japan, and he's doing NWA. I think the goal for Marty is for him to end up doing everything.
Right.
We spoke about there might be some sort of issue between him and AEW because he didn't go over, right? He didn't go over with all the guys. He didn't. He extended his contract twice with Ring of Honor. There's something going on there.
You think so?
There's something going on.
I
told you there was something going on at All In.
I don't doubt their friendship, and they did do an Elite mentioning him a couple of weeks ago, where Kenny Omega is on the phone with the wrong Marty and gives Marty Jannetty a $650,000 contract.
That's phenomenal.
And then the guys show up and say like, "Were you on the phone with Marty Scurll?" And he's like, "Marty Scurll? I was on the phone with Marty Jannetty."
That's really funny.
So like, I don't think there's any tension there. Who knows?
Did Marty ever seriously consider WWE? Yes, he did. Will Nick Aldis ever end up in WWE? Nick Aldis is unbelievable. This guy is such a star, but I fear if he goes to WWE, they're just going to do the Bobby Roode treatment.
I honestly wouldn't mind him being a long-term NXT champion.
Nick Aldis?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's very good. Lance Archer, who's the next big jump. Prediction for AEW Revolution card. And is Aja Long going to return to AEW?
Aja Kong?
Aja Kong?
Yeah.
Is that what they meant?
Well, that's what they wrote.
Is there an Aja Long? No, Aja Long. That's an L.
Where are you reading this?
I'm reading this in the chat. It's Aja Long.
Oh, he just kept putting the question over and over again. Okay, he retracted it. I see what you're doing, Steve.
I saw. There you go. Aja Kong, yeah, definitely she's going to show up.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else? Did Marty ever see? We did that one.
Is AEW going to launch a secondary title like a TV title?
Yes, they are.
Yeah?
Yeah. They're also going to have a 6-man title.
Trio title? Interesting.
They're going to have a 6-man title that gets unveiled at the next Jericho Cruise.
Like next year?
Next year.
Okay.
They're going to have a tournament for it, and it's going to be crowned at next year's Jericho Cruise a 6-man title.
Good for Jericho, I got to say. You have your own cruise. You came out to your own theme music. You are from your own band.
Yeah.
and you are the first AEW champion. Pretty fantastic. Dude's doing all right.
Does he drop it to Moxley now?
What's up with Allison Kay? She dropped the title and disappeared from NWA.
I don't know the story.
Yeah.
I don't know the story behind that.
I heard a rumor today
What?
that Camille Brickhouse and Braun Strowman
Really?
are
I didn't hear that.
doing that funky dance.
I did not hear that.
The Revival did ask for their release.
Again.
Again.
So
Apparently.
there's a lot of rumors over what was offered to them. I don't have I don't have a hard number, but I know that it was a lot for a tag team in their position.
Mhm.
They don't want to be there.
Well,
they don't want to be there.
Because what's the emphasis that's put on tag team wrestling in WWE?
Nothing. The New Day. That's it.
Yeah, it's the New Day and whatever flavor of the month tag team that they slap together.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think Christian is gonna? This is my question to you. Do you think Christian is gonna get involved in this?
I think Christian's going to be involved in something.
Mhm.
I think Randy Orton's going to murder Christian next.
And Beth Phoenix, he's gonna show up on NXT
Yeah.
TV and kidnap Beth Phoenix.
Yeah. I want him to just be a total psychopath. She dated Braun last year. I'm pretty sure it's done.
Okay.
Revival
Mr.
in
Gonzo.
AEW would be great.
Mhm.
Didn't they trademark a name? The Revival.
Yes.
They trademarked something. Well, I forgot what it was.
All fists, whatever that is.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Fisting.
Fist bumping.
Yeah.
The fist bumpers.
The Gallows and Anderson stayed because of AJ. Gallows and Anderson stayed because
The money.
and I think more for Anderson.
Anderson's got 4 kids.
Anderson's got a lot of kids. He's trying to make as much money as possible, and he's no spring chicken.
Right.
This guy's going to be like 49 years old when his contract ends.
He's like 34.
Shatter Machine.
Yeah. Okay.
I love that.
Camille is with Thomas Latimer now, who is also on NWA TV.
Who knows so much about the dating life of all these wrestlers?
I always find that interesting.
Very incestuous.
You know what it is? Like, if you go down that Reddit hole, it's like everything's exposed.
Yeah.
You know? Shatter Machine. I think they would do great in AEW because that's like, you would have so many dynamic matches. The Bucks, the Lucha Bros.
Well, the Bucks match is going to be, that's the one, right? That's what it's going to be built for.
Yeah. The only other like dream match that who knows if it'll happen would be New Day versus the Elite.
Maybe never. Maybe one day.
Maybe one day when they're like old, like
When they're
you know
very
how
old.
like the Rock and Roll Express is being.
Yeah,
They were.
That's what it's going to be.
You know, like it's gonna be like all these dudes in their 50s, like finally.
All right. Are you ready?
Mm-hmm. Let's do it.
We are doing, it's time for us to do another Wrestling What If.
Okay.
This week, you guys voted on Twitter. Actually, you didn't even vote, but I was shocked at the sheer amount.
In the chat room last week.
But I'm saying on Twitter last night, I put out a tweet. The sheer amount of people that were so into this, I was a little surprised. And the one that won this week was, what if Hulk Hogan never left for WCW?
1996.
In 93.
1993.
Yeah, there you go. You know, I learned that about you.
Yeah.
Your years get scrambled a little
They
bit.
do.
They overlap.
Big time.
So you got to also remember what was going on at the time for us to kind of lay this out, right? I want you to think about this, Rich.
I am.
Okay. I'm going to lay this out for everybody. And I want to see, and I want the chat room to be involved in this. So 1993, the boom is over. Wrestling is cooling off. We are now in a very bizarre period. When you talk about Hogan, you have to also talk about Flair, and you also have to talk about Macho Man Randy Savage. Because Hogan didn't show up till 94, I believe, right?
Well, okay. So Hogan's last match for WWE
Was a Monday Night Raw. No, it was an overseas tour.
August 1993.
And that was where?
And sat out, apparently, I'm reading this on the Wikipedia. Apparently, he sat out the rest of his contract.
Yeah, so August 93. In 94, June 94, they had the ceremony.
May 93, he did a year in New Japan.
He had a couple New Japan matches.
And then in 94 is when he debuted all skinny on the Dodge Viper. You remember that?
Yeah. Hold on. Let me pull up his match history so we could do this. I think this is fun to do it without kind of preparing for it.
Yeah.
2002. I'm in 2000s now. Let's go to 1993. So 1993, he wrestled 2 matches in Okay, so he wrestled WrestleMania,
Mm-hmm.
right? Then he wrestled Yoko.
Right.
He never dropped. He went to Japan, and he wrestled Muta.
It was great.
In
Such a great match.
1993. So watch how this is working. Okay,
Uh-huh.
him and Beefcake defeated, he lost by DQ to IRS and Ted DiBiase.
Mm-hmm.
In May, a month later, he goes to Japan, and he wrestled Muta. He beat Muta.
Mm-hmm.
Comes back, does a random Albany house show in June with Beefcake and Hogan versus beat IRS by DQ for the tag titles.
Mm-hmm.
June 13th, 1993, loses to Yoko,
Mm-hmm.
goes back to Japan and teams up with Muta against Power Warrior and Road Warrior Hawk. And then he wrestled Muta again, and he beat Muta. This is 1993.
So good.
94, he wrestled one more match in Japan against Fujinami. So weird.
Hogan's Japan career is so phenomenal.
So weird.
Love it.
He's beat everybody in Japan.
Mm-hmm.
And then he showed up at Bash at the Beach like 10 days later and defeated Ric Flair. So now this is where it gets interesting. So in 1993, he decided to leave. He was going to do a part-time schedule anyway, but he leaves after the Yoko match. He was not supposed to leave after the Yoko match. It was supposed to be him and Bret Hart at SummerSlam 93.
Not playing ball, brother.
So we have to now kind of go down that path of him and Bret having that match.
Right.
I don't think they were going to turn him.
No.
I don't think there was going to be a turn. I think they were going to elude. He would beat Bret Hart. This is how I see it. He would beat Bret Hart. So he beats Yoko, keeps the title. Okay? Beats Bret Hart at SummerSlam, but some schmaz ending. Like
This is 94. Or is it 93?
93.
Okay.
I'm selling 93.
Okay.
Remember, Lex never comes either.
Okay.
Lex Luger never shows up. So now he has, he's winning. Something happens. He turns around. A heel, I don't know who, does something to Bret. Hogan doesn't see it, gives him the leg drop 1, 2, 3, and wins.
So now Bret thinks Hogan's in cahoots with whatever heel that is.
Okay, yes.
Okay.
So now
Could it be Owen?
I can't remember if Owen had turned at this point.
Okay.
So now let's go to SummerSlam 93.
Vader.
Slam 93. Let's see who was around so I could kind of put this together. Owen defeated Barry Hart, Razor Ramon, Ted DiBiase, Shawn Michaels with Diesel. Okay, here you go. So I would now build a program. My God, it was Doink the Clown and Bret Hart.
Because Doink was to be billed as the top heel in the company.
Yeah, and then
Right.
it was Bret Hart defeated Doink with Jerry Lawler. Then Jerry Lawler defeated Bret by DQ. Ludwig Borga defeated Marty Jannetty, Undertaker, and Giant Gonzalez. Oh my God, the matches that this is good. Oh my God.
What is this, SummerSlam 93?
SummerSlam 93. So Luger's there, but let's take Luger out of the equation. So now you're going to have Bret losing due to some weird finish. You're now going to allude that Hogan is maybe involved with some bad people, right? And then he's going to be like, I didn't know, brother, I didn't know. Monday Night Raw, something similar happens.
Okay.
Maybe he goes to help Bret. The great move of him going to help Bret. Bret has a rematch with Doink the Clown or Jerry Lawler. Hogan now shows up and he waffles Bret with a chair or whatever Hogan would use. So now you're like, what the hell? Hogan's doing this. So you do this like 2-3 times. Then you have the rematch at King of the Ring.
Okay.
I'm sorry, at Survivor Series.
So you're starting from SummerSlam 93.
Yeah.
Did you see the poster for SummerSlam 93?
What was it?
It's Yoko
sitting on the American flag?
It's Yoko squashing the American flag with his butt, and it says SummerSlam, fat chance, somebody has to stop him. But I think if Hogan didn't leave, he'd be the one to stop Yoko.
But he did. He beats him at King of the Ring.
So Hogan's still in the company at this point.
Hogan was in the company in King of the Ring right
Okay.
before this.
Okay.
So now we're at Survivor Series. Was there a title match? There was not a title match. So you would have, I guess, this was when they did the Hart family defeating Shawn Michaels and the Knights. So, you know what? Then I would have Shawn. Shawn would have been the one.
Are you in 93 or 94?
I'm in 93.
Because Survivor Series 93 is the All Americans beat the Foreign Fanatics.
Yeah, but the Hart family also had a match. The Hart family.
Hart family versus
Yeah.
Shawn Michaels and his
Yeah.
Knights. Oh, so stupid.
So I guess Hogan would be the All-American.
Mhm.
You could do that with Hogan. You could continue that because this was a nothing. But you know what? I would have had Shawn Michaels been the one that interrupts and costs Brett the title. I would have done that.
Okay.
So now we're going to Royal Rumble. Royal Rumble. So you have Bret Hart wins the Royal Rumble.
Uh-huh. This
Beat-
is 94.
94. I would have Bret Hart winning the Royal Rumble, beating Hogan at WrestleMania.
Okay.
Hogan starts a program with Diesel.
Okay.
I would have him do that. But at house shows, by the way, house show matches are Giant Gonzalez and Hogan throughout that entire run.
Okay.
That's the big house show match that they keep pushing. And it doesn't work out because Giant Gonzalez sucks and Hogan can't work with them, so they do nothing with that.
Well, I mean, who's got the belt now?
Bret Hart has the title.
Okay.
Bret has the belt. Diesel now is feuding with Hogan. Imagine the Hogan Diesel's Razor feuds.
But, okay, so Yoko and Taker are still with the company.
Yoko and Taker still with the company.
How do they fit into your Hogan equation?
Remember, Taker was hurt.
Okay.
Right? This was the Yoko and Taker still could have feuded, but remember Taker would be out after this casket match. That's the one that he gets flown away.
So at Royal Rumble 94, the main event is Bret Hart and Lex co-win
There's no Lex Luger.
by eliminating each other.
Yeah.
So is it Bret and Hogan co-winning?
No, Hogan is the champion.
Okay.
So then what you do is you have Hogan and Bret at WrestleMania.
Okay.
That would be the moment that Hogan drops the title to Bret
Okay.
and kind of fades away for a little bit.
So you're not even putting the belt on Yoko at this point.
I'm not putting the belt on Yoko.
Okay.
No.
Does the Undertaker get hurt because
Undertaker's still
still
out.
hurt.
Yeah,
Okay.
he's still hurt. He's out.
Okay.
So now you go into, you have Royal Rumble, now you have WrestleMania.
WrestleMania 10.
So your WrestleMania match for Hogan would be Bret, and Bret defeats Hogan in the match.
So you're putting Hogan where Yoko is in WrestleMania 10.
I'm putting him where Yoko is. Yeah, remember, there's also no tournament.
Okay.
We're getting rid of that tournament at WrestleMania 10.
Okay.
And again, I'm not saying that this is the right way to do it. I'm just going based on what I'm just throwing out there.
If Hogan is still in the company.
Yeah. So after WrestleMania, it's the King of the Ring again. So now we're back at King of the Ring. So you got to remember, Roddy Piper's back in the company. Jerry Lawler's in the company. Owen, Razor. I would have, this would be the King of the Ring match. It would be Diesel and... Actually, this is interesting.
Because you're saying Hogan still has the belt at the King of the Ring.
Yes. Hogan, no. Hogan doesn't. Hogan dropped the title at WrestleMania.
To who?
To Bret.
Okay.
Okay? So now we're at the next pay-per-view. Diesel and Hogan have a match.
This is King of the Ring.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Diesel wins via DQ. That's how I would do this.
Okay.
Because remember, he's now he goes away after this.
Right.
For a little bit, right? SummerSlam comes. Now you have, I don't know what they're going to do with SummerSlam 94. Bret defeated Owen. You could still have Bret doing that whole thing with Owen Hart for the title. I anticipate you would have Undertaker defeated The Undertaker. So Undertaker happened. Jeff Jarrett defeated Mabel. This was a terrible show. Tatanka defeated Lex Luger. Razor Ramon defeated Diesel with Shawn for the IC title. That match would be Shawn Michaels and Razor.
Okay.
I don't know. Beyond this would be very difficult to tell because it was so volatile. But I mean, that's 1 year of booking I could give you.
Okay? So here's the big big brushstrokes.
Yeah.
Does Vince try to finagle Hogan into an announcing position like he does with Macho Man?
So here's the thing: Macho would be still active at this point. Right? So we would have probably gotten the Macho and Shawn match.
Okay.
I haven't put thought into it, how to do that, but that was what they were trying to work. Is a Macho Man Randy Savage and Shawn Michaels match. So maybe you would have Hogan and Macho teaming up against Diesel and Shawn in a lot of these situations.
Now, does Hogan still continuously wrestle, and then instead of Jake Roberts, it's Hogan that gets beat by Austin?
No, he would be just a specialty guy at that point. 96, he would just appear every now and then.
Okay, and then does he go away for a few years and come back again?
I don't think he would ever go away. So then, this is what do they call it? The butterfly effect.
But he's never in WCW, so that means he's not bringing his buddies over.
What buddies is there to bring over?
Macho Man?
No, that he never goes.
So Macho Man doesn't go. Does the NWO still get formed?
I think NWO still would get formed. I think
With Sting.
Paul and Nash would have left.
Okay.
They would have probably left. It would. I don't know. The concept would have been there. I don't know how true to what it would have been.
Sting.
Sting would have been the guy.
Because Bischoff did say that it was going to be Sting, and then Hogan finally gave into it.
All right, brother, I'll turn.
Yeah.
Does Hogan ever turn heel in WWF?
I think
closest
he comes back as a heel.
Against who?
Austin.
I don't know. See, does Austin happen if Hogan's there?
Absolutely.
I could. That's the thing. I could only look into the future by 1 year with this because you have no idea. I mean, Hogan leaving caused Macho to leave, Perfect to leave, Paul and Nash,
Teddy DiBiase,
Ted DiBiase, all these guys.
Yeah.
All these guys
Piper.
left because of Piper. All these guys left because of Hogan.
Warrior. Well, Warrior came back
Warrior
to
in
WCW.
96. Warrior in 96 with Hogan still in the company. Would that still happen?
Yes. You get Hory Wogan. You get
Hory Wogan?
You get
WrestleMania 96?
Warrior Hogan Part 2.
Yeah, maybe that would have been a match in 96.
Put an asses in
I
their
still think
seats,
one of the
brother.
best ones we ever did was Warrior returning to the company in 1998.
Okay.
I remember we did that one, and people loved it. They were blown away on how accurate this was. That could possibly happen.
Yeah.
Let's see what the chat room is saying about this.
Lex shows up to confront Hogan.
I don't know if Lex ever goes to WWE.
Okay.
If Hogan's there, why do you need this character?
But wasn't he there as the narcissist while Hogan was there?
No. Yeah, maybe. 93.
Yeah.
It was close. Maybe they knew he was leaving. Okay, so Lex shows up. I think that's the narcissist versus Hogan. You have that whole feud.
Okay.
Jerry Lawler and Hogan, you could have that match that you never saw.
We never saw that, right?
In WWE. I think it happened in Memphis. There's so many of these fascinating matches. Does Owen ever turn heel? I think Owen does turn heel because you're going to have to take Brett and separate him from Hogan at that point. I don't think Austin would happen if Hogan was still there.
I disagree with that.
You think it would still happen?
I think it would still happen. I think it would happen in like a weird way. Yeah, Lex was the he debuted as Narcissus at as Narcissus, and then became the Narcissist.
He debuted as Narcissus?
Yeah, as Narcissus at the Royal Rumble in 1993. So Hogan was still with the company when he came in. But it was like a terrible gimmick. Remember he used to come out with the three mirrors and look at himself?
Yeah, the Narcissus. Narcissus.
Right.
What a weird
mythology.
Yeah, and then they changed it to the Narcissist.
Yeah.
So that would have been Royal Rumble 93. Hogan was gone by then.
And then
Hogan was gone by then.
Mid 93, after Hogan's departure, Luger was transformed into the All-American.
Oh, Royal Rumble 93. Yes. Sorry.
Right. So when Hogan left, they were like, "You're the guy now. Can you body slam Yoko on an aircraft carrier?"
Dude, this would have been actually. You would have probably had the Narcissist versus Hogan.
Yeah.
That would have been another big thing.
Now, do you think it would have been? Let's say, but that's the moment where they're still going full steam with Yoko, right? Now, imagine if Hogan, you start from there, and it's Hogan coming back and slamming Yoko on the Intrepid.
Oh man, that's the moment, right?
Right.
But Hogan already wrestled him from WrestleMania on. So
right.
That program's over. That whole Intrepid thing would not have happened because Yoko wouldn't have been champion at that point. The push for Yoko would have been back though. The thing for Hogan, the issue that they had was they didn't have any strong heels.
Right.
Yoko was a monster heel. So if you add the Narcissist in there, okay, so Hogan now has the Narcissist and Yoko and Doink from all that Bruce Pritchard has said, there was an idea for Doink and Hogan to be in a feud. So you would have had Doink as the evil clown feuding with Hogan. Giant Gonzalez was there in 93. That's another monster for him to beat. The whole thing was for him to beat monsters.
Well, I think also you got to think about it on the other side. Like if Hogan stayed and didn't take that WCW money,
What happened to WCW?
who would have taken that money?
I don't think there was anybody that could have.
That it was just
that
like,
offer would not have existed.
We need just specifically Hogan.
They needed Hogan. They needed
Mhm.
a recognizable name. Hogan started that ball.
Pretty nuts when you think about it too, because like Hogan was never that exposed to a Southern audience,
Yeah.
and he was like the mythical like
Villain.
He was the guy.
He was the guy,
know?
yeah. And he shows up and he beats Ric Flair.
He was cartoon wrestling, not real wrestling.
You know what? Another one was, I was doing a bunch of research on this, and they were like, you know what's interesting? If Hogan never came back, if Hogan was never there,
Mhm.
would Rick Rude's injury, would that have happened? Like, what if Rick Rude never got hurt?
Mhm.
I think that's a great what if Rick Rude never got hurt.
Yeah.
The time that he got hurt, people don't realize WCW at that point was in had that 2 title thing.
Yes.
They had the World International Championship, which was a
Yes.
big gold belt when they came back, and then they finally merged it with the WCW title.
Mhm.
But they had 2 world champions, like we have a Universal Champion and WWE World Champion. But we don't look at, like, for some reason, that title is not recognized in the same light as how we look at the Universal title.
Right.
Rick Rude was the man for that company for a long time.
Mhm.
So Ric Flair got it in 94. June of 94 at Clash of Champions, he got the title back. So it was vacated by Rick Rude in May of 94.
Mhm.
So if he never went to Japan for that match, technically Rick Rude would have been the number 1 heel in the company
Mhm.
in all of 94, 95. So if Hall and Nash show up, it is quite possible you could do that with Rick Rude.
Right. And then he went back. He went to ECW, and then
Well, I don't know.
did the DX thing.
Well, he only did that because he wasn't wrestling. I would like to play with that. If Rick Rude never got injured,
Mhm.
what the story would have been in WCW. Because he would have been the top guy. Him, Sting, Flair,
Mhm.
Vader, in 94,
Cactus Jack.
Cactus. That would have been like the top tier, really. I mean, obviously, I'm forgetting some names.
Paul
but
Orndorff.
Orndorff with his baby arm.
Mhm.
But it's so interesting when you think about these because it could take you down so many directions. I think the most fascinating one is Bret Hart leaving. Like the trajectory for The
Yes.
Rock, for the whole WWF explosion to
Mhm.
happen. Bret leaving started the ball rolling, but if Bret never left, I think it would have been a way better era. Because 97, in my opinion, is one of the best years in that company as far as wrestling goes.
Yes.
97 was unbelievable.
Yeah, I agree with that.
You know, the Bret Taker Shawn stuff was great.
Mhm.
Austin coming up. You would have led into The Rock. Triple H coming up. Mick Foley. Like, Bret would have fit perfectly and would not have affected anything. It would have elevated everybody.
100%. There's always those what ifs. Like, what if there was no Stone Cold?
I think the what if there was no Stone Cold is more of a reality if the opportunity wasn't created by the mass exodus of top talent.
Well, again, the mass exodus of top talent could be taken in the way of Vince's, like, because Vince always was an ageist in terms of like he's always looking to push.
He only likes old women.
Yeah, is always looking to push like a younger guy.
Yeah,
right. And you can see that over like he's looking for the guy to take that Cena spot in a weird way.
Yeah,
you know.
Well, he doesn't have it right now. Well, Drew might be the dude.
Drew's still relatively young.
Roman,
Ricochet, Roman, Seth.
They have it's amazing how they have such like the 80s, like the late 80s. That was the best mid card. You got to think about.
Yeah.
Like
yeah,
everybody
yeah.
was a champion in their territory. Like Ted DiBiase, Kurt Hennig, Kerry Von Erich,
Dusty, Greg Valentine,
Hogan, Piper, Randy.
I think Harley Race was still around.
Harley was around.
Yeah.
Like, what an unbelievable roster.
Junkyard Dog.
Just top level guys.
Insane.
It's like now.
Yeah.
And these guys, how many of them never had a world title? Right. Rick Rude never had a world title. I'm saying WWE world title. Yeah. Kurt Hennig. Harley Race. Dusty Rhodes.
Greg Valentine.
Greg the Hammer Valentine. You love Greg Valentine.
I don't. Texas Tornado.
Kerry Von Erich.
Yeah.
Rick, Jake Roberts. Ted
Right.
DiBiase.
Yep.
These are world. I mean, in any other realm, they would be the world champion.
Right.
But it was such a stacked roster, and everything was built around Hogan that
Which is
they
insane.
never had it. Paul
Yeah.
Orndorff should have been world champion.
Right.
There's no question about Roddy Piper, Paul Orndorff should have 100% been world champions. They weren't.
Yeah. Well, it's fascinating to think about that time in wrestling too, because again, that's Vince's mentality of like, who was the guy before Hogan? It was Andre.
No.
Right.
What do you? In what
As
way?
far as like your big attraction and in that regard.
Territorial attraction. Yeah, Andre was a territorial attraction.
And he strapped the whole company to Hogan because he was just like a big muscle boy with personality.
Well, his father didn't want to do it.
Right.
Right. And they, you want to talk about visionaries. Like I'm always big on the people that could think 2 steps ahead are always the ones that are going to. It's not a matter of how good you are or what you do right now.
Right.
It's about if you could forecast and see where you're going to be in 2 months from now. You don't have to be the best in what you do, but the ability to kind of envision the future. Vince was that guy.
Yeah.
He could see the writing on the wall for wrestling.
I think in a certain way he still is, but the crowd doesn't like it. So if you take that mentality, right, let's apply it to Hogan. Okay, the futurist mentality will be, all right, there's lots of guys that are better workers.
Yeah,
but there's nobody who has this dude's personality and size. He's 6'8", dude's charming as hell, right?
Yeah.
In that mentality, it's this guy's gonna look amazing on posters. This dude is gonna.
That's what you want. Yeah.
This guy's gonna. Kids are gonna want to meet and be this guy. And then you flash forward, John Cena, same thing. Kids are gonna want to meet
Roman
and be
Reigns.
this guy. Roman Reigns. I think that's what
The
the
Rock.
crowd. The Rock, yeah.
Stone Cold Steve Austin.
The Rock is an interesting thing because The Rock and Austin came in the era where it wasn't so much like for the kids. It was like, this is our answer to edgy programming.
Okay, more Rock than Austin.
Yes.
Austin does not fit the Rock fits the mold of WWE top tier guys.
Like the cartoon almost.
It's The Rock. Not so much Steve Austin. There was nobody that can rise that quickly.
Biggest draw in the business, right?
Biggest draw in the business.
Historically.
And the biggest draw in the business at the height of the business of all time.
Right.
There's no denying that. But when you look at the guy on the poster, is it a bald redneck or is it The Rock?
Right.
This
a lot of it was the
racially
bald redneck.
ambiguous, handsome guy that has, the charisma and the shirt, the Versace shirts and the Rolex. And you're like, oh my God, this is the dude.
Right.
He's somebody. I don't know who he is, but he's somebody.
Same thing with Roman. When you see Roman on a poster,
Roman,
you're like, this guy looks like he jumped out of an action movie.
Yeah.
This guy should be in Fast 9.
He should. He probably will be. Guys, we're going to wrap it up because I got another show in about 30 minutes. I got to do What the Tech. If you're a fan of technology, join us for What the Tech.
What the Tech?
Also, for old school GFQ viewers, the Free For All is coming back for a one-night only show this Friday.
Who are you doing it with?
Coco and Spencer.
Very nice.
Yeah, bringing the team back.
Cool.
Maybe Jess will stop in.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Can I show up?
Yeah, you want to show up?
My ding dong?
Yeah, show up with your ding dong. Yeah.
Sweet. One thing also, go check out Danny Warren Johnson. I just picked up his WrestleTober sketchbook. Pretty fantastic. I forgot to bring it with me, but you can Google it, right?
I ordered it.
Very nice.
I think. Let me see. He's from Image Comics, correct?
He's an indie guy.
He's done Image Comics.
Yeah, he's done Image. He's doing Wonder Woman, Dead Earth for DC.
So if you
right
go
now.
to danielwarrenart.com, he has you can see he has a Liger cover there that he drew. I ordered it also. So it's a sketchbook.
Great sketchbook.
Yeah.
And I think that's it for me on my end.
That's it, guys. Go to our website, gfknetwork.com. Subscribe to us. I need to get some coffee and regroup and do a show. And I'll see you guys next week.
Quarter mile at a time.
At a quarter mile at a time.
Later.
I'll see you guys. Take care.